This is the newsroom for Wednesday, June 9, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, President Irfan Ali says the countrywide flooding is now a level 2 disaster, which means that Guyana can now seek international help. Emanuela Desir becomes the first Guyanese woman selected to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy. A fire completely destroys a supermarket in Baggotsville on the west bank of Demerara.
Well, you couldn't save the building because the building got all kind of thing inside. You got rum, you got all kind of stuff.
ExxonMobil makes 20th oil discovery offshore Guyana. And in sport, Test captain Craig Brathwaite wants West Indies to build on momentum against South Africa, and the Everest Cricket Club to slash electricity bill by 60% through renewable energy partnership. With the news, I'm Fariza Hanif. We're glad you can join us. President Dr. Irfan Ali on Wednesday announced that the Civil Defense Commission has advised that the flood situation across the country is now a level 2 disaster. The head of state made this disclosure as he addressed residents of Chesney New Housing Scheme during the second day of his outreach activities in Regions 5 and 6. Vishani Raghuber joins us.
Since Tuesday, President Dr. Irfan Ali has been meeting with flood-affected residents in Regions 5 and 6 as he continued his nationwide outreach efforts. While meeting with residents of Chesney in Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine, the president said that the nationwide flooding in Guyana, which has already affected more than 25,000 houses, is now a level 2 disaster. The confirmation that the nationwide flooding is a level 2 disaster came from the Civil Defense Commission, CDC, the president said. According to the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency's regional response mechanism, a level 2 event is one in which the national capacity to respond is not overwhelmed, but some external assistance is required. At this level, the affected state may or may not declare a disaster. In this scenario, the SEDEMA coordinating unit may provide technical assistance, specialized equipment, support personnel, and information sharing. In comparison, a level 3 event overwhelms the capacity of an affected state to respond. Over the past 2 weeks, the nationwide flooding has been exacerbated by continuous rainfall and high tides. Kokwani in Region 10, Upper Demerara Berbice, the riverine communities near the Mahaic and Mahaiconi rivers, and other communities in Region 6 have been among the hardest hit. In Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, water from the Rio Negro River in Brazil has contributed significantly to the flooding of the region. And all across the country, residents and farmers are reeling from the devastation caused by the floodwaters. Accompanying President Ali during his outreach on Wednesday are Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal, Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, Head of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Lionel Wordsworth, and Regional Chairman, David Armagon, among other representatives. The President used the opportunity to assure the residents that the government is working assiduously to address their concerns. He said that the government will propose a supplementary provision for Parliament to secure additional resources to support the efforts.
United States Ambassador to Ghana, Sarah Ann Lynch, has congratulated Emanuela Desir of Georgetown as the first female from Guyana to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. She attended a pre-departure ceremony at the U.S. Embassy, which included representatives from the Military Liaison Office. A press release from the U.S. Embassy noted on Wednesday. According to the release, Ms. Desir will receive a full 4-year scholarship to the Academy, sponsored by the U.S. government. Only 15 international students per year are admitted to the Academy from around the world. It was further noted that Ambassador Lynch praised Ms. Desir's strong desire to serve her country in the area of science and noted her plans to return to Guyana to work in the field of green energy. We tell you now that the popular Good Life Chinese supermarket at Baggotsville on the west bank of Demerara was destroyed by fire early Wednesday morning. Reports indicate that the blaze started sometime after 5 hours. When the newsroom arrived at the scene at around 9 hours, firefighters were still attempting to put out pockets of the fire in the lower flat of the building. Shakima Day has her story.
Firefighters are yet to determine what caused the early morning blaze that gutted the popular Good Life Chinese supermarket located at 150 Baggotsville Public Road, West Bank, Demerara. The newsroom was informed by eyewitnesses at the scene that the fire erupted just after 5 a.m. on Wednesday. One eyewitness who did not want to appear on camera detailed that fire tenders wasted no time arriving. However, they were unable to save the building.
Many people come, they take a time to get water, but the water was there. Other trucks come and they summons other trucks and them kind of stuff. You understand? So that is how we could be able to put out the fire so fast.
But they didn't get to save the building.
Well, you couldn't save the building because the building got all kind of thing inside. They got rum, they got all kind of stuff. You know, it's a supermarket. So I don't expect they're going to try to save a building because the fire started from the back. You on the front here, because I live right over the road. You on the front here, only to see the fire, but you didn't know what part of the fire really coming from.
Meanwhile, the owner of the property, 67-year-old Herman Faria, said he received a call at around 700 hours informing him of the fire. Faria said he was told that the fire originated in the upper flat of the building that was being rented by a Chinese couple.
I got a phone call, said the building's on fire, and I came here. But I was sleeping at Diamond. I wasn't here. I was out by my daughter. So I normally live at 24 Lagrange, and I came here and I see the fire. Not much I really could do. I just all I could do is watch on, you know. But they said the fire started at the back upstairs, so I don't know.
Eyewitnesses reported to the newsroom that the couple who operated the supermarket sustained some minor injuries as they attempted to escape from the building. Investigations are continuing. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
The Caracara-Linden Region 10 woman who was allegedly murdered by her son was discovered by police with a door on top of her body and her head and face smashed inside her bedroom, police headquarters reported. The gruesome discovery was made on Tuesday at around 17:15 after police received a report from an eyewitness that he found the entire dining area of the house ransacked and furniture and other appliances were scattered. Dead is 56-year-old Wanda Patricia Wilson, also known as Sheila Wilson. Her son, who is believed to be of unsound mind, Hosea Ajedai, was found inside the house with the body. He remains in police custody. According to the police report, the victim's body was discovered in a bedroom on a bed with a door on top of her. Wilson was escorted to the Linden Hospital complex, where she was officially pronounced dead. Her body is at the pensioner funeral home awaiting an autopsy. Police said the son was taken to the Linden Hospital complex, where he was examined by the doctor, who acknowledged that both victim and the suspect are patients at the said institution. As the first mock examination ahead of the National Grade 6 assessment, slated to be written in August, got underway, Minister of Education Priya Manikchan on Wednesday related that more than 90% of the students came out to their schools to sit the exams. Here's Vishani Raghuber.
On Wednesday morning, the Minister of Education, Priya Manikchan, visited a few primary schools where she interacted with parents, teachers, and pupils as the first two-day mock examination ahead of the National Grade 6 Assessment NGSA got underway. Though pupils were given the opportunity to sit these preparatory examinations at home with supervision from their parents, the minister told the newsroom that more pupils opted to return to their schools.
We also bent and broke a lot of rules because the purpose of this whole thing is to make sure our children get an education and so that we can place them. So if you look around, you'll see children without uniform, and that's because we didn't want parents to go to expense in this hard time to be able to have to go find uniforms and so on to come and write these exams. They're not going to be in these schools come September.
Though scores of pupils were able to return to their primary schools to sit these mock examinations, there were pupils who were unable to do so since their homes, schools, and communities might have been flooded, or because there has been an outbreak of COVID-19 in their communities. But the minister said that these pupils will be allowed to rewrite the examinations shortly.
Is there a chance that there will be someone who got it and exposed a child to it, or a parent? Yes, that is one of the risks we run. But we're asking parents not to help your children because we're using it as a diagnostic. Now, if you help your child to get the answer right, the teacher is not going to know that this child does not know this topic. So the teacher is not going to be able to teach it back because she'll think the child got it. So when the child gets to the actual exam, you won't be in there to help the child. So you're actually doing your child a disservice if you help them on these exams.
The NGSA is slated for August 4th and 5th, and pupils will be required to return to schools to write that secondary school placement examination. Minister Manikchan, however, related that even then, the pupils will not be required to sit the examinations in their school uniform since it has been more than 1 year since they were last in school. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Vishani Raghavir.
ExxonMobil makes the 20th oil discovery offshore Guyana, and more than half of the adult population in Berbice have taken their COVID-19 vaccines. Oil giant ExxonMobil on Wednesday announced that it made another discovery of oil at Longtail 3 well in the Stabroek block offshore Guyana. Vishani Raghavir joins us.
A drill ship from Stella Drilling sailed into Guyana's waters earlier this year to commence exploratory and appraisal drilling at ExxonMobil's Longtail 3 well in the Stabroek block offshore Guyana. On Wednesday, ExxonMobil, through a press release from its Irving, Texas headquarters, announced that newly identified high-quality hydrocarbon-bearing reservoirs were encountered below the original Longtail 1 discovery intervals. The oil company said that this Longtail 3 well is located approximately 2 miles or 3.5 kilometers south of the Longtail 1 well, and it was drilled in more than 6,100 feet of water, or 1,860 meters, by the Stena Drillmax drillship. Senior Vice President of Exploration and New Ventures at ExxonMobil, Mike Cousins, related that Longtail 3, combined with the recent discovery at the Uaru 2, has the potential to increase the resource estimate within the Stabroek block. This, he said, demonstrates further growth of the world-class resources and high-potential development opportunities offshore Guyana. ExxonMobil also stated that it has deployed 2 additional drill ships in the first quarter of 2021, the Stena Drillmax and the Noble Sam Croft, to enable further exploration and evaluation while continuing development drill activities offshore Guyana. As the company continues its 15-well campaign in the Stabroek block, it was noted that the Drillmax drillship will move to Whiptail 1, while the Noble Sam Croft supports development drilling for the Liza Phase 2. Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat, in a written statement on the latest oil find on Wednesday, stated that the government of Guyana anticipates that the new development at Longtail 3 will further increase the potential for more floating, production, storage, and offloading FPSO vessels. Additionally, he stated that this will also increase the estimated recoverable resource by the operator, Esso Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, EEPGL. As such, he said that the Natural Resources Ministry and the regulatory agencies for the petroleum sector will continue to work with other operators to expedite their drill program as Guyana seeks to expand the sector. Minister Bharat also said that the government reinforces its commitment to the sustainable exploration and development of Guyana's oil and gas resources. This, he said, will be done in keeping with the highest level of compliance and transparency to ensure that the benefits from this sector enhances the lives of all Guyanese.
Thank you, Vishani. We tell you now that more than half of the adult population in Berbice Region 6 have taken their COVID-19 vaccines. But the Ministry of Health continues to face an uphill battle in getting citizens in Region 10, which includes the mining town of Linden, to take the jab. On Wednesday, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony gave a breakdown by region of those who have taken the first dose of the vaccine.
So Region 1, they are now at 51% of their adult population. Region 2 at 41.4%, Region 3 at 43.8%, Region 4 at 45.2% of their adult population, Region 5 47.8%, Region 6 51.9%. This is the region with the highest vaccination first dose so far. Region 7 43.6%. Region 8, 28.3%, and Region 9 at 41.9%, and Region 10 has been lagging. They're at 13%. Slow progress, but still lagging behind all the rest because most of the other regions are either in their 50s or in their 40s. So we would like to see improvement in 10, and hopefully we can urge more people to come out and get vaccinated.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health continues to appeal to those who have taken their first dose of either of the vaccines to return for their second dose. As of Tuesday, 214,251 were recorded as having received their first dose. This represents 44% of the adult population. Of that number, 79,802 came forward to receive their second dose. Those who have taken the Sinopharm and Sputnik V vaccines can return for their second dose after 1 month, while those who have taken the AstraZeneca vaccine can return for their second dose within 2 to 3 months. The Minister of Health reminded that it is only those who take both doses of the vaccine who will benefit from protection against the virus. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Onage Walrun on Tuesday announced the launch of a youth entrepreneurship survey. According to Minister Walrun, the survey is aimed at helping the ministry gain more insight into the entrepreneurial desires of young Guyanese. She explained that today's reality is that Guyana's young population has often been relegated to positions that have very little correlation to their expertise and capabilities, and they are many times overlooked because of a lack of experience. However, she pointed out that the young people have much to contribute, and if presented with the opportunity and support, they can maximize their potential to the overall benefit of Guyana.
I'm extremely passionate about youth entrepreneurship. That is why the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce continues to examine ways of assisting our young business people in developing business ideas and expanding existing operations. With this focus, aiming to better inform our policy decisions and approaches, the Ministry embarked on a youth entrepreneurship survey in order to gain more insight into the entrepreneurial desires of our young people. We hope to use this initiative to engender and inspire greater interest by our young people in business.
Still ahead in the newsroom, AmCham Guyana launches initiative to equip young Guyanese with business skills, and Guyana making good progress to end AIDS by 2030. You're watching the newsroom. To help young entrepreneurs thrive, the American Chamber of Commerce Guyana on Tuesday kicked off its Young Entrepreneurs Program aimed at providing the necessary skills and tools needed to develop their respective businesses. To achieve this mandate, AmCham created a Young Entrepreneur Arm for young business owners who are eager to learn from successful and established business executives in Guyana and internationally on how to succeed in the business environment. Shikimade reports.
Director at AmCham, Eman Cummings, delivering remarks at the launching of the Chamber's Young Entrepreneurs Program, explained that with the emergence of innovations and technological advancements that have disrupted the status quo, young entrepreneurs understand this and are ready to take over. But for them to excel, a conducive environment needs to be provided for them to meet their full potential.
The launch of this program has seen a mix of entrepreneurs who seem to have the knack of seizing every opportunity that comes their way. Young people who have already started their businesses and are looking to put their audacious ideas to the test.
Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports Charles Ramson Jr., delivering the main remarks, emphasized the importance of youth involvement in Guyana's local content arena. He pointed out too that the Youth Ministry is pushing an entrepreneurship culture for young people.
That strong connection is going to create the prosperous Guyana that we all want for ourselves and for that future. And I'm very happy to be here, to be able to support this initiative that sees mentorship and entrepreneurship to be the foundation of what is intended to be the success story of Guyana.
Soon, Minister Ramson said the ministry will launch its equivalent to Shark Tank. Currently, he said the ministry has a program where young people can receive funding and mentorship for their business ideas. Also at the launching was the U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, who lauded the initiative, citing it is her firm belief that entrepreneurship can be cultivated at a young age.
You are in a perfect position to help build that trust for your future and for Guyana's future. And in your lifetime, you will see jobs and careers emerge that we cannot even yet imagine. And that will be your challenge, to answer the calling of innovation to the problems that Guyana faces today and the problems it will face tomorrow.
AmCham outlined that mentorship by top corporate executives would be in the areas of banking, supply chain management, risk diversification, growth, and other issues that would be raised by the participants in the program. Applications will be accepted in batches of 25. In terms of criteria for participation, businesses must be owned in the majority by someone between the ages of 20 to 35 years. Businesses must be formally registered. If 1 year or older, the business must have tax returns, and the business must have a business TIN and NIS registration. Application forms can be found on AmCham's website at www.amcham.gy. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
Guyana is making good progress in sticking to global commitments to end AIDS by 2030, but it is off track in meeting some targets, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony indicated on Wednesday ahead of chairing a United Nations high-level panel. In a 2016 declaration to end AIDS, countries of the United Nations committed themselves to the 1990 targets, with the intention to ensure the vast majority of the population are tested for HIV and ensure those who are living with HIV are treated to the extent that they can no longer pass on the disease by 2020. According to Dr. Anthony, Guyana surpassed the first target, namely increase the proportion of people with HIV who know their diagnosis to 90%. That figure for Guyana stands at 95%. On the second target of increase the proportion of people receiving the antiretroviral treatment to 90%, Guyana's percentage is at 71%. On the third target of increasing the proportion of people under treatment who have an undetectable viral load, Guyana's percentage is at 69%. Going forward, Dr. Anthony said countries have to focus more on involving people, particularly vulnerable groups, in decision-making.
We're looking at getting persons who are HIV positive to be more involved in decision-making. We're looking at the key populations to not only be part of decision-making, but to be able to offer things like testing as a service, to be able to provide services such as treatment and care, and to reach out to other vulnerable people. So how do we involve them in this response, not just as persons who are receiving treatment, but persons and organizations who can work in communities that are hard to reach and be able to identify the people who are vulnerable, who need service, and be able to offer that service, and what mechanisms can be put in place. And of course, there's always the advocacy to make sure that laws that inhibit the response or restrict the response, that we work to make sure that we can dispel with those laws.
In the 2021-2025 period, Guyana is committed to reaching the new UNAIDS Global 95-95-95 goal and ultimately end AIDS in the next 10 years. When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport news with Avinash Ramzan. That's it for me, Fariza Hanif.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Avinash Ramzan here with tonight's sport. We're starting us off with some cricket news. After the away series victory against Bangladesh and an encouraging 0-0 draw with Sri Lanka in the Caribbean, West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite is looking to his players to continue with the same momentum when they face South Africa from Thursday. The two sides clash in the first of two test matches at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia, and Brathwaite is optimistic about the outcome of the series. West Indies recently jumped 2 spots in the ICC Test rankings to 6th, 1 ahead of South Africa, and Brathwaite's men are favourites against the touring side currently in transition.
I think for us it's a continuation of the good things we started from January in Bangladesh, and for me it's quite simple. We just got to keep the same attitude we had and discipline, and I think results will take care of itself once we do the small things right. I mean, I think as a team you always obviously you want to bat well, you want to bowl well, and you want to feel well, and I think as a team, once we keep the attitude, as bowlers, we stick into the plan. As batters, pretty much the same thing. For me, it's a whole team effort. And, for us, we just want to keep that standard, pretty high.
For you as captain, how much does history mean to Craig Brathwaite as captain? And by that I mean, West Indies haven't beaten South Africa in a series in nearly 3 decades, in almost 29, 30 years. I don't think you were born the last time West Indies beat South Africa in a series. Coming into this series, does that weigh on you? Do you think, okay, this is pressure to break this, or do you see this as an opportunity to make new history? How do you view things like that?
I mean, I think you summed it up there at the end. You know, for us as a team, you know, as I said, from January, you know, we were doing certain things, you know, good, and obviously you still got to improve in those areas. But, you know, for us, is just to go there and do the simple things right. I mean, I think results will take care of itself. I will not be a one to look at that. We know South Africa will be challenging. You know, we know that as a team. But I think, you know, once we do the small things right, that's what I like to focus on. And then, you know, results would take care of themselves.
Without giving too much away, what will the makeup of the team look like, having seen the surface and the history of the wicket at St. Lucia? What do you think will be the best combination for the West Indies team against the South Africa team?
Well, you know, the decision, you know, haven't been made as yet regarding the starting 11, but, you know, pretty much saw the 13. I think, you know, all 13 have a great opportunity to be in the 11. So obviously when we have our meeting, you know, a little later, we would, you know, decide on that. But the pitch, in saying that, you know, the pitch looks a good cricket pitch. And, you know, here in St. Lucia, I think it offers, you know, something for the bowlers and for the batsmen. It's, you know, a very good cricket pitch, to be honest.
Meanwhile, the Test captain Craig Brathwaite says the plan against South Africa is to execute the basics in a 2-test series that is expected to be competitive. With not much room for error in such a short series, the Caribbean side will look to hit the ground running in St. Lucia from Thursday.
I don't think any test match is important. Obviously, two games, you know, is obviously less than 3. But, you know, I think each test match is always a challenge, and, you know, it's never easy. So, you know, as players, you know, it's a mental grind, and you have to go there and work hard. But, you know, I just think, as I say, once we do the simple things right, from the start, you know, from day one, you know, regarding sticking to the plan, staying disciplined, you know, having the right attitude, you know, whether things, you know, wickets falling fastly, or, you know, you got to obviously be patient at different times of the game. I think once we focus on those small things, you know, other things will take care of themselves. But as I said earlier, I'm not focusing on, we as a team, not focusing on, you know, that stuff. I think we have our specific plans, you know, as batsmen and bowlers, and that's what we are focusing on, you know, being disciplined, having the attitude, you know, the right attitude that, you know, in the entire game, to be honest. And, you know, results will take care of themselves. We're not looking at, you know, opposition. We have the plans, you know, against the opposition, and it's just for us to go there and be disciplined and stick to them, and, you know, results will take care of themselves.
Meanwhile, all-rounder Jason Holder says he was shocked to be relieved of the West Indies Test captaincy, and while he admits to finding it difficult to transition from being the leader to an ordinary player of the team, he wants to focus more on his game and be a sounding board for youngsters looking for guidance. Speaking ahead of the first test against South Africa starting Thursday, Holder said, and I quote, "Yeah, it's been difficult. I probably may not show it, but it has been difficult. For the last 5 to 6 years, I've been captaining West Indies, whether that be test match cricket or one-day cricket. So now, being relieved of both captaincies, it has been a strange transition for me personally." End quote. Fellow Bajan Craig Brathwaite led West Indies in Bangladesh earlier this year, when Holder, as well as a number of other regulars, opted out of the tour because of the COVID-19 situation around the world. West Indies swept the 2-test series, and when it was time to select the squad for the home series against Sri Lanka in March, the selection panel kept faith in Brathwaite. Now, Guyana's senior national men's team, the Golden Jaguars, exited the CONCACAF 2022 World Cup qualifiers with defeat, losing 2-0 to Puerto Rico in their final Group F game on Tuesday afternoon in St. Kitts and Nevis. The loss meant that Guyana finished 4th in the 5-team group with just 3 points garnered from a solitary win. Puerto Rico's victory was set up early in the first half when Ricardo Rivera netted in the 12th minute and Isaac Anking converted a penalty in the 25th. The defeat was Guyana's 3rd in 4 games. They had previously lost 3-0 to Trinidad and Tobago and St. Kitts and Nevis. The lone victory by coach Marcio Maximo's side was a 4-0 drubbing of the Bahamas. By virtue of topping the group with 9 points garnered from their 3 victories, St. Kitts and Nevis have advanced to the next round. slated to start on June 12. Trinidad and Tobago finished second, Puerto Rico third, and the Bahamas bottom of the table. Guyana's next focus is the CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims in early July. Now, a partnership with the Chinese embassy will see the Everest Cricket Club reducing its electricity costs by 60%, says President of the club and Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir. The club has been on an expansive infrastructural development drive, and according to Nadir, this new arrangement will help to significantly improve facilities at the Camp Road Club. Chargé d'Affaires of the People's Republic of China, Shen Zilai, said that this is another step in the embassy's efforts to support sport development in Guyana.
I also want to express my appreciation to His Excellency, the Chargé d'Affaires, Mr. Zilai Shen, from the People's Republic of China. We have been speaking with many persons, many donors, many agencies, looking at garnering their support to improve the facilities. In spite of what we are going to expect in terms of electricity rates, sports organizations have to pay electricity at the commercial rate, not at the residential rate. And those rates are very high. So one of the projects that was conceived was a hybrid solar system to power the club. And His Excellency Chargé Shen has gladly agreed to support this program, and in 2 months also, Everest will be powered by solar during the day solely. It's a hybrid system, so all of our air conditioners, the lights for the dressing rooms, the squash court, the tennis room, the coolers, the freezers will all be powered by solar, and there will be backup in the event that there is power outage in the evening, sufficient emergency lights so that we can continue offering our services to our members. This is going to help Everest reduce its electricity costs by between 50 and 60%.
For the embassy, we have been supporting the development of sports in Guyana over the last decades. And for this project, we are going to cooperate with the Everest Club upon the introduction from the Honorable Speaker to provide some electrical system to the club. And we hope that through such kind of assistance, the club will be able to provide evening services to the athletes, so that in the evening, the athletes and also the amateur players can have a better place to play cricket, but at the same time, table tennis. This is the major goal of the embassy. We have been doing so, and we are going to do so in the near future. And we really appreciate the efforts done by the speaker, and we hope that under his leadership, the club will do a better job in the near future. We'll have a better place for the citizens living in Guyana.
And finally, New Zealand captain Kane Williamson will miss the second and final test against England at Edgbaston to rest his troublesome left elbow. The 30-year-old missed the Black Caps one-day series against Bangladesh in March with the same issue. Opening batsman Tom Latham will captain the tourists in Williamson's absence. Will Young will come into the side to bat at number 3, with pace bowler Trent Bolt also expected to return for the game, which starts on Thursday. The left-armer Bolt only arrived in the UK on Friday during the drawn first test, with New Zealand coach Gary Stead saying before the start of the series he did not expect him to feature against England. However, the Kiwis look likely to rotate their pace attack as they prepare for the World Test Championship final against India in Southampton next week. And with that, we have come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page, and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Remember to get vaccinated. See you next time.